Chapter 9, talking about this is 6 plus 6 systems. Basically talking about the date. We will talk about later. Yeah, talking about seasonal changing and talking about like naturally internal organs should be matching with seasonal changing. So Huang asked, I heard about 1 年, yeah, 1 year, have six systems, yeah, 6 is 6, yeah, 字节, just like some connection there, yeah, which is translated 6 systems. And the human being have 9 systems, 9 means 9 systems. How we can cooperate each other. And like we have 365 节 means connected part in human being. I heard about these systems many years, but I don't know what that means. So that's we need to discuss. So that's this question there. So then Qi answers. Yeah, Qi answers. So 9 systems and 6 systems decided with heaven and marching with the 24 solid team. Yeah, 24 solid. So that's basically in a year or seasonal changing, we have 24 solid teams according to different year. And the 天度, the heaven of the degree, the measurement, the movement, the sun and the moon. And the solitude is the use. We're talking about the plants growing and changing naturally. So that's we say we matching the heaven with the season changing. Heaven belong to Yang, earth belong to Yin, sun belong to Yang, moon belong to Yin. Their movement have follow some the ruler and follow their special kind of orbit. So that's heaven and the earth and the sun and the moon, they movement. So we say 365 degree of the heaven. It's like we're talking about for a year, 365 for a year. That's coming from the heaven. That's coming from the heaven. And the sun moving just 1 degree and the moon moving 30 degrees, yeah, day. So that's we say sun and the earth. Earth follow the sun moving a year 365 days. So that's each day moving 1. Yeah, each day moving 1. But the moon moving around the Earth. Thus we know 28 days. So thus we say marching here, the moon moving is different with the sun. So thus they talk about 13 degrees in a day. So thus we calculate the moon moving here. But not necessary to calculate for the number, but we just know there are difference. So because sun moving and the earth moving, there are different. So thus we are not exactly matching. So we have long months, we have short months. And then we working together is 365 days. That's like a year. And the months marching with difference with the sun's moving. So that's why sometimes we sculpt the months. That's the we say the Chinese calendar here. It's the Chinese calendar basically follow for the moon. If we follow for the moon, we like sometimes we couldn't marching with the sun. So that's sometimes they got one actual month. So that's we say sun and the moon moving. So very decided, yeah, very decided. So we decided or began in the winter solstice. So we say we have 24 solstices, but winter solstice we decided. So that's basically that's pretty important. Pretty important. Like we follow the lunar calendar, and for the daily life, that's we calculate in there and do some plan and for the life. So that's in the ancient time they calculate different season with the sunlight and the shadow go to longer, little bit longer in the spring season and shorter in the summer and longer again to the fall season and in the winter. They just measurement how long it is, then they know the time. So that's the way they calculate for time in the ancient time. So that's they talking about the heaven degree, yeah, heaven degree, moving or marching with the sun and the earth and the moon moving. So that's the heaven degree. Then Huangdi say, now I like to understanding the solitude marching with the heaven degree. So people say heaven degree marching with six systems, and the earth follow nine systems. So heaven has 10 days. After 6 times 10, that's 60 days. So 6 days follow one changing, follow one changing. And 6 times 6, that's basically a year. So that's they talking about the heaven degree here. So basically for a year is 6 times 6. That's we weigh. So that's basically we calculate. Yeah, we calculate. And we calculate basically by the heaven steam and the earth steam, earth sponge. So heaven steam, we have 10, like 10 numbers. Yeah, like 10 numbers here. But each of them, we still separate yin yang, and also we matching with 5 elements. So this part, we talking about more in Neijing or classic 3. So that's basically for Chinese originally calculated for the day. That's belong to heaven steam. That's 10 number here. And we also have earth sponge. Earth sponge, we have 12 number. 12 number. Certainly they are not this number. They have Chinese character there. So that's 12 still matching with 5 elements. And these 12, if we're talking about animals, you may not be familiar with. Like everybody know, this year is rat year, next year is ox year. So that's originally coming from the earth sponge. Yeah, earth sponge. So when we calculate or Chinese calculate, basically is heaven steam match with the earth sponge and then put it together. That will follow 60 for a circle. So that's the smallest number they can matching each other and make a circle there. So you are not necessary to remember how calculate, but you remember 60 is a circle. So that's where the 6 coming from. So that's we calculate from 6 times 6. And that's in the ancient time we calculate. That's the pian is heaven, pian is heaven, the ruler of the heaven movement. And that's the basic ruler of life, yin and yang. So then talking about the earth, So the earth, like in the human being, we have 9 orifices. And in the earth, we have 9 different air. So all the 9 orifices relationship with heaven qi. And the heaven qi divided with 5 elements, like we talked about heaven steam before. And also with yin and yang. And the yin yang separate with 3 degrees each other. So 3 times 3, that's 9. So that's matching here. So I think when we're talking about acupuncture, we're talking about we can separate the toys with 3 levels: heaven level, humans level, and then earth level. But each of the level, we still can separate 3 levels: heaven, human, earth, heaven, human, earth. Just like we coming from yin yang, separate yin yang again, and separate yin yang again. And also we coming from 5 elements. 5 elements. Still, we can separate another 5 elements and another 5 elements. So everything we can separate. Everything we can separate. So here is the heaven, humans, and the earth. We separate heaven, human, earth again. So that's totally is 9. So that's basically we talking about in the earth. In the earth. So 3 form heaven, 3 form humans, 3 form the earth. And in the mainland China, the earth truly have 9 different regions. So that's we try to mark in here. And in human bodies, we have 9 internal organs. So it's 9 in here. It's 9 in here. We're talking about all the organs we truly have formed. So 5 Zang organs, 5 Zang organs, plus large intestine, small intestine, and the stomach, and your bladder. So not including gallbladder and not including 三焦 here. So that's if we talk about 9 organs, we put these 9 together. So that's matching with heaven. That's matching with heaven. So that kind of matching. So that's basically explanations for 9 systems where they come, and 6 systems where they come. So Huang said, I have understanding 6 systems. I think you still remember what means 6 systems. We're talking about 6 days is a circle. And 6 times 60 times 6, that's a year. That's our heavens systems. Heavens systems. And 9 systems. What means 9 systems? In the earth, we have 9 different kind of places. And in the human body, we have 9 orifices and 9 organs. So that's 9 systems. So that's we finished last week. Now the question is how to make another month. So that's we say sometimes for Chinese calendar, they will have another month. They will have another month. Where the another month coming from? So that's the question. That's the question. And the Qibor said, These coming from the emperors before. These like a secret. Yeah, it's like a secret coming from the xian di. Xian is di is emperor, we know already. Xian is like a before, the emperor before. Kind of a pretty important series. And I learned, yeah, I know it. Yeah, I know it from my later masters. Look like the secrets. I don't like to tell anywhere else. But Huang still asked, please, yeah, please tell me. Yeah, please tell me. Then Qibor answered, yeah, then Qibor answered. So we say 5 days, we give a name. It's called Wan Hou. Hou is the qi, yeah, Hou is the qi, yeah. So we just thinking about natural heaven qi, they just give a special name for a special 5 days. So that's basically 5 days is whole, and then 3 5 days is 15 days called one. We talking about the solid term last time. Yeah, one solid term. Yeah, one solid term. That's we call 节气. I think I just add you here. 节气. This last time, yeah, last time we see the video. For a year we have 24 节气. We have 24 节气. So 5, 3 to get 3 times 5, that's 1节气. For a year we have 24 节气or solid term. Yeah, solid term. So 6 节气. Don't confusing qi and 节气. It's called 完时. 时 is a season. 时 is a season. Full season. Yeah, full season is a year. So that's basically in Chinese ruler calendar, they calculate 5 days we call 完候. Yeah, 5 days we call 完候. And 3 候 means 15 days we call 节气 or solid term. And 6, yeah, 6 节气 we call 1 season. And the 4 season a year. Yeah, the 4 season a year. This part, pretty much we talking about with our calendar. But the Chinese follow the ruler calendar for a year. So that's sometimes look like a little bit different. Yeah. So in the seasons of the year, different time, they marching with 5 elements. Like we talking about the spring season is the wood, summer season is the fire, autumn is the metal, winter is the water. They are follow the order changing and marching with 5 elements. And these kind of moving, 5 elements moving, follow the times changings and until end of the year. and then start another new circle. Still follow the 5 elements changing. Follow like the ruler there. So that's gradually, the season changing and the 5 elements changing. So that means in different seasons, they have different, we talking about 5 elements changing. What means 5 elements changing? 5 elements just means the naturally heaven qi combination with the earth qi together. So that we should know that kind of changing. So that's we say one good doctors should be know that kind of changing. So this kind of changing in the same seasons, in the same seasons, we're still talking about 5 elements here. So when we say the 5 elements, we have to chart. This chart is kind of a control chart. That's the wood. That's the earth. That's the water. That's the fire. That's the metal. And remember, we have another chart for 5 elements. If we use for the seasons, we say that's the wood, and certainly spring season, that's the fire, that's the metal, that's the water, and in the center is the earth. So season changing follow this circle. In the same season, there are naturally like a heaven qi will marching with the seasons. So that's the circle. Yeah, that's the circle order. So if some season, there are like a natural qi, natural qi is not much with 5 elements. That's we call 客气 or subordinary qi. Means the qi not marching like in the spring season, like the weather getting a little bit warm, but sometimes still cold there. That means 客气. So that's basically talking about different seasons will match exactly the same season. Spring is warm, summer is hot, and the fall is getting a little bit cooling down. Certainly winter is more cold. So that's different seasons, they have their qi circulation. If not matching, so that's we call 客气. It means not matching the season. And then we see what kind of 客气 or not matching the season qi in there. If that qi belong to generation circle. Belong to generation circle. That kind of qi. Basically, it's not that worth. It's not that worth. But if that qi belong to control circle, that will cause the people sick or ill. So that's generally talking about different seasons will matching their naturally like 5 elements qi. Then talking about the detail, you say sometimes excessive, sometimes deficiency. What means excessive? What means deficiency? About the qi moving, follow the seasons. So that's another question here, because the qi circulation, no beginning, no ending. But when you're talking about sometimes it's too much, it's excessive, sometimes deficiency. So that's the question here. The explanations. So the answers, certainly Qi is the master answers. The qi, 5 elements, it changing, like follow the normal order. That's the normal. That's the normal. It's not means excessive or deficiency, and they control each other. Same like we talking about 5 elements. So that means it is normal. That means it is normal. And then we see what is abnormal condition. So that's we say 平气 or even 气, 平气 or even 气. So Huang say what means even 气? Means the qi balance. So qi balanced means no excessive, no deficiency. Just like we talked about before, in the same season, like spring season, is everything gradually growing and the weather getting gradually warm. And the summer season is pretty hard. And the later summer, so that's the spring is the later summer. It's still hard and a little bit dampness. And the fall is everything start cooling down, and the winter is more cold. So that's the normal season qi. Normal season qi. If the season changing follow, that means even qi. No excessive, no deficiency. Then Huang asked, what means, what is excessive? What it means deficiency? Insufferance means deficiency. Then Qi said, it discussed in the ancient book. It discussed in the ancient. What means ancient book? Still talking about Huangdi Neijing. We know Nanjing after Huangdi Neijing, and Huangdi Neijing before, we still have some TCM book. But it's not living up to now. It's not living up to now. So we got the earliest like a TCM book is Huangdi Neijing. But truly from this sentence we know truly we have some other books before Huang Neijing, because we discuss Huang Neijing right now. And Qi said it mentioned in the Asian book. That means some book before Huang Neijing, before Huang Neijing. But we don't know which book it is already because it is losing. Then talking about the two kind of abnormal condition or two special conditions, relationship different seasons. One is we call 所胜 or dominance. Still talking about 5 element stuff. Still talking about 5 element stuff. So 5 elements. That's the wood. That's the spring season. Yeah, that's the spring season. It's not spring, it's spring season. Spring season. So spring season dominate over the later summer. Later summer is the earth. Later summer. So spring dominate the later summer. Later summer dominate the water. So water is the winter. So we're still talking about 5 elements here. The same like we learn the foundation. Yeah, the same we learn the foundation. And the winter dominate the summer. So that's the summer. That's the fair. And the summer dominate with autumn. That's the autumn. That's the metal. So that's still 5 elements here. Still 5 elements. So that means dominate or sheng. So that's still the same when we're talking about our foundations. So 5 elements in different seasons and affected with internal organs. So thus we know different 5 elements match with different organs. So that's normally control, normally control, and normally follow the season changing. They matching with our 5 elements internally. And then Huang asked how to know their dominance. Yeah, how to know their control or dominance. And Qi answers. Yeah, Qi answers. So basically, we calculate by the time. What means the time? Solar terms. We know for our year, we have 24 solar terms. Yeah, 24 solar terms. So basically, what means solar term? Just the different time in our year, yin yang changing, and the season changing, and the weather changing. So we calculate like a different solid term time in ancient time. They calculate what they will do in the life, like when they should plan, when they get received, when the plant grow up. So that's the season changing. And people life should be follow the season changing or follow the solid terms. So usually calculate from the spring season, because spring season is the time people plan to play something, growing something. So first day of the spring, we say the season, we call Li Chun. Chun is the spring. That's for 24 solid terms. Li Chun. So that's the first day of the spring. Not arrived, but weather is coming. It's getting warm. So that means, that means it is excessive. So we say in 24 solid term, basically, if you can find a Chinese calendar, they will put 24 solid term in there. Usually, the beginning of spring is like, if our calendar is the beginning of February, usually. So beginning of February, that time, like everything getting a little bit warm, getting like weather getting warm. But if before that day, if before that day, and the weather getting warmed already, that means the spring not arrived. The spring not arrived. But the weather coming first. Weather coming first. That means excessive. So that now we are not talking about the human being excessive or deficiency. We talking about the weather thing. So excessive will damage qi. Will damage qi. So what means they damage qi? Still follow 5 elements. Still follow 5 elements. We still put wood here. We still put earth here. So excessive usually damage qi that normally will be controlled. So wood normally control the earth. So certainly, if the weather coming first, that means excessive. Excessive will be more damage the earth. And also, they will some qi with a metal. Metal usually control wood. Now wood too excessive. Metal will not able to control wood. So this kind of condition, means excessive qi, dominate over. So talking about the season things here. So that means excessive, but generally say excessive is the solid team not arrived, but the weather coming first. that will be still damage some qi by 5 elements. That's kind of natural things relationship with internal organ things and infected of our bodies. Then another condition, if the first day of the season arrived already, but warm weather is not coming. So like some year is pretty cold, pretty cold. We're still talking about the first day of the season of the spring, usually in the February, usually is kind of 5 or 6. Yeah, every year we need to look in the calendar. Yeah, every year is changing. It's not the same like a spring festival. So like go to this day already, but outside still like winter. Yeah, still cold, still very cold. So that kind of condition we call difference. So that kind of difference means this condition happens, this condition happens, that's still like a wood difference. When wood difference, metal will be over controlled. And other side, usually would control earth. Now earth will be insulted. So that's two kind of condition. One we call excessive, one we call difference. How we calculate? We calculate from the beginning of the spring season. Yeah, beginning of the spring. If the season, if the solid term is coming, but the weather not coming, that means difference. So that's two kind of conditions. And then we say we try to offset its qi arrived. Yeah. Try to offset qi arrived. So that means we including the solid term and then we waiting the qi coming. So like a spring season or spring solid term, we just calculate when it will be a cup. Yeah, when it will be a cup. So basically we follow the solid term. And then waiting the qi are coming. If we calculate for wrong, and we do some things not follow the season changing, so that will be damaged body. That should be like infected for the like a people's body. So if against the seasons and do something wrong, so that means get sick or illness for the doctors not able to treat it. So in other words, still the idea, so we are living our life, need to follow the heavens, follow the seasons, yin yang changing. If you are not follow the yin yang changing and got external passenger invading internal body, so even doctor is hard to treat. So So that's TCM idea. Yeah, that's TCM idea. So give you an example. We can see some people is like raining outside and just put a little bit clothes on the body. And in the very cold winter, they raining outside. So that's basically is not follow the yin. Yeah. So winter time we say we should more rest, we should put more clothes and keep it warm. So that's why some people when they young, they do some against the yin yang things against the universe. They may not getting sick immediately, but truly when they getting aging. I think that's why we can see lot of people here. They got some knee problems. They got some shoulder problems. Lot of reasons is when they were young, they are not follow the season changing, not follow the yin yang. So that's basically in this part, just talking about people life will follow the yin yang. So then Huang asked if any possible, like yin yang changing, not moving in the order. Yeah, not moving. We're talking about yin yang changing. Will moving on the order. Yeah, will moving on the order. If any possible, it's not moving on the order. Like winter directly getting hot. Like no spring directly jumping to summer. And then Qibur said, this kind of moving naturally couldn't volunteer the ruler. If it not moving, like not follow the order, so that's pretty severe kind of situation, will cause severe kind of damage for the humans.